Welcome back to the Beauty Industry Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Sammy Kennedy. Before I dive into today's episode, I wanted to do my personal share, which is some advice I was given by one of my mentors who is a billionaire. So he made his money developing an algorithm that predicts the foreign exchange anywhere from like 3 hours to 6 days in advance. And he's sold part of his algorithm to American Express. And just every time I go speak to him, sometimes I realize that my mindset and my vision for what's possible in life is so limited. And it's been either limited by, the country town I grew up in, my parents, what they've been able to achieve, the people I surround myself with. And what I've realized is the more you start to surround yourself with highly successful people where they're having conversations about innovating, business, health, like just all of those things in life that we all want, if you surround yourself with people who are actively going out and chasing and getting those things, you're going to be expanded and inspired. But if you're hanging around people that are trying to hold you back and they're saying, that's not safe, don't do that, are you sure you can do that? You're going to feel extremely restricted or limited in what you can achieve. That's going to play on your mindset and how you show up in business. Now, one of the other pieces of advice that he gave me is in your 20s, spend time going far and wide. Trial and test different things, make lots of mistakes, and figure out what is the thing that you're good at, what is the thing you enjoy, and what is the thing that actually makes money. And in your 30s, then once you've spent that time trialing and testing and doing all the different things, you know that you can focus and hone in all your energy and attention into the one thing that's going to be able to generate you millions in your life. And it really got me thinking, like, how much time have I spent trying to learn other skills than the ones I currently have? Inherently, we will just continue building on the things we're already good at. It's like in beauty when you do one type of service and then you upskill and then you upskill and you upskill and you upskill. And it's just like, well, yeah, maybe you've done 5 upskilling courses and you're incredible at providing the service, but the reason why you suck at business is because you never learnt marketing, sales, people management, leadership, like all of those kind of things. So it got me thinking about myself. What am I not good at? And I was like, oh, well, I'm not great at systems and processes. And I've just dived into this whole different world of understanding, different softwares and platforms and ways of organizing things. In another sense, I also have never understood economics that well. I know that inflation is a real thing, prices go up, all of that. But lately, I've been learning way more about economics and understanding how rich people just get richer in economic downturns because they're already got the cash reserves ready to keep stacking assets. And so the rich people or the wealthy people buy a lot of assets that ordinary people need to survive during cost of living crisis and all of those things, which drives the prices up. And then when inflation and prices are rising up, then people cut back on spending on goods and services. And it really got me thinking like long term, you want to acquire assets in your life. So as much as you have a business, what kind of assets are you actually acquiring in your lifetime? So if your business is doing well, you're generating profits, are you investing in property? Are you investing in index funds, stocks, whatever it is? You need to have a long-term strategy or an exit strategy for your business because at the end of the day, not all of us are going to be able to work in our business until we die for income. So it's like, what are you doing with the profits that you're currently generating in your business to then continue growing those profits passively? So it's just something to think about. I know that there are a couple of things there, like number one, going and understanding different areas or things you may not be good at, because if you've got one really good strength and then everything else is weaknesses, don't just keep building on the strength. Focus on tightening up those weaknesses and then turning them into strengths, and you will be a great all-rounder. On top of that, just making sure that, hey, if you're building this business, what's the long-term plan? How are you getting your money to make more money for you when you sleep? So that leads me into today's topic, which is the difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner. And it took me a while to understand this because We've had 8 businesses across my family in the last 17 years. And I've also had 3 businesses of my own. So a beauty salon, a beauty pageant, and also doing business coaching / beauty industry leaders. And I've really learned a lot of different things through trial and error. I've invested in coaches. Like I've spent $100K on business coaches, certifications, mentoring, like all of those things. But no one told me, or no one explained to me clearly the difference between being a business owner and being an entrepreneur. And so through what I've learned and what I've understood, I want to share this with you so you can also see the difference and think about what your long-term goal is in business. So the small business owner is usually going to be stuck in daily operations, whereas the entrepreneur is going to be the type of person who focuses on growing the business. So if we compare the mindset of a small business owner, they get stuck in that employee trap. So think about this. Think about this. You're an employee, you work for someone else in their beauty business, and you thought, you know what, I'm going to go out on my own. And so you go out on your own, you realize that, hey, I've actually got to do a lot of work to run this business. And even after years, you might build the business up, but you've realized that business only makes money when you're working in it. And so what happens is when you're in that mindset, you become quite reactive. So you're focused on handling what needs to be done day to day. You react to client bookings, urgent tasks, and problems as they arise. Usually these type of people have that I have to do it all mindset. So the small business owner will believe that they need to personally oversee or perform every task to ensure it's done correctly. So that leads to that level of micromanagement. So they only have that short-term horizon mindset. Their focus is on immediate tasks and keeping the business running day to day rather than planning for long-term growth. Now, if you look at the beauty entrepreneur, they're proactive. So they already think ahead and they plan strategically. They anticipate the future trends. They're thinking about challenges and opportunities, and they set systems in place to be able to manage them. And on top of that, instead of thinking, how do I do this all myself? Oh my gosh, this is so much work. They are just primarily thinking about how can I leverage others? So they're delegating roles, they're outsourcing, they trust in their team to handle the operations, and their focus is on leadership and empowering others to run the day-to-day tasks. You'll find with the beauty entrepreneur, they have a long time horizon. So their focus is on scaling, innovating, and building a sustainable business. So they're constantly planning for growth, new revenue streams, and expansion. And so this is where you start to see, the employee who now owns a business and is just an employee for themselves versus the entrepreneur who's actually driving the growth of the business and not working in it. They're working on it. So next up, we have different types of tasks that you would see the small business owner do versus the beauty entrepreneur. So a small business owner would be performing treatments. So they're spending most of their time delivering services themselves. They're giving, facials, waxing, lashes, body sculpting, whatever it is they're offering, they're the ones doing the treatments. And even if they have, a couple employees, their business still isn't making money unless they're also on the tools as well. They're usually doing a lot of customer service, so personally managing all the client interactions from booking appointments through to addressing complaints. Usually they're doing a lot of admin work, so scheduling, ordering supplies, bookkeeping, cleaning. You're still stuck into those day-to-day operations. And then the worst part about being a small business owner is that troubleshooting. Like you're constantly putting out fires and solving those immediate problems. So you've got last minute cancellations, equipment issues, product shortages, staff members sick, can't come in. Oh no. Like those are the common tasks that the small business owner will get caught up in day to day. Then we've got the beauty entrepreneur. So Their primary focus with their tasks is leadership and team development. So how are they training their staff to deliver consistent, high-quality services? They invest that time into the team building, the staff development. They have training days. They have experts come in. Like whatever it may be, they really want to build their team up to be the best performers that they possibly can be. They also spend a lot of time thinking about the strategy and the growth of the business. So whether that's marketing strategy, revenue generating, creating new services, packages, building relationships with suppliers, exploring new business opportunities. So maybe they're opening a second location, or they're launching an online product line, or they're doing a training academy, or, speaking gigs, podcasting, whatever it is. They are being that key person of influence. So their goal is to go and create more opportunities for the business and the brand. And then they can pass those opportunities onto their team, and everyone grows together. Now, the beauty entrepreneur also knows that they have to have a high focus on system creation. So this is designing systems and processes to ensure the business runs smoothly without their constant involvement. So that might be automating bookings, automating your marketing, making sure that, hey, when this one post goes out, I'm not manually having to do it. I've got that software set up. It might be making sure that there's client follow-ups happening or inventory management. It's creating step-by-step systems, processes, policies, procedures so that everything runs efficiently and consistently. And then the other thing they'll be spending a lot of time doing is client experience innovation. So instead of just delivering the treatments, being stuck in that day-to-day like the small business owner, they are actually the type of person who's going in and going, how do we overall enhance our client experience? How do we create these loyalty programs, VIP packages, partnerships? We offer exclusive products. Maybe it's actually going in and looking at the client journey from start to finish. How do we just add this one thing into our salon? What is, the first appointment look like, the second, the third, and just really mapping out how you're going to make that a 5-star experience the whole way through. Next up, we have roles and responsibilities. So, the small business owner, they are usually a technician. They are often the main service provider. They're performing treatments themselves, and their role is primarily hands-on, spending most of their time delivering services. So it might be the facials, other beauty treatments. It might be, cutting hair, doing blonde foils, whatever it may be. They're the one who's stuck doing it, and they've maybe got a team alongside them, but they just feel stuck because they're always working on clients but never working on the business, They also are the operations manager. So they're handling the day-to-day operations, including scheduling, managing suppliers, cleaning. They've got to deal with, customer service issues. Like on top of providing the services, now you've got to do all of the operations. And then on top of that, again, you've got to do customer relations. So, they're the type of person that's responsible for building and maintaining the client relationships personally. So with little time to step back, they can't really assess how these relationships can be scaled or automated. So that mindset of I have to do it all, this is when you start to burn out. This is when you start to feel really stressed. This is when you feel like the business is never growing because you don't have time to work on it. And, instead of delegating to other employees or staff members or taking the time to train them, you've got that kind of thought that no one's going to be able to do it like I can, so I just have to do it. And it becomes a massive trap for you. On top of that, usually a problem solver. So constantly resolving those day-to-day issues, it leaves very little room for strategic thinking or high-level decision-making because so much of your brain power is constantly going to what is happening every single step of the day. From managing your team through to offering the service, customers, bookings, follow-ups, banking, marketing. Like that's a lot of tasks to hold yourself responsible to. The beauty entrepreneur, on the other hand, they're usually the CEO or the visionary. So they focus on leading the business. They're setting the vision and they're aligning the team with the long-term goals. So they are responsible for steering the business in the direction of growth and profitability. you also would look up to these CEOs as like the team leader. So they oversee the team of service providers who deliver the treatments, or they hire a manager to do it. The entrepreneur's role is to mentor and guide the staff, ensuring that the quality of service remains high while they're out there focusing on scaling. You also got to, as a CEO, be a strategic planner. So, you are responsible for creating business plans, marketing strategies, and expansion opportunities. So partnerships, investments, new revenue streams. It might be launching a new product. It might be franchising the business. Like, they are thinking about long-term strategy and how they're going to execute that. And of course, with the roles and responsibilities of a beauty entrepreneur, they need to be a good delegator. If you're constantly feeling like you have to do everything, you're the only one that can do it, you kind of put that responsibility on yourself, you're not going to grow. Only one person can give so much time and energy. But if you start being able to train up other people, empower them to do what you do just as well, if not better, and you delegate those tasks, all of a sudden your work output, your efficiency, and your opportunity to drive sales, growth, expansion is going to be a lot higher. So as a delegator, you're delegating those daily operations to trusted staff. You've got your salon manager. You've got the team of service providers under there. Maybe you've got a marketing manager. Maybe you've got someone who's managing your finances. So their job is to ensure that the systems are in place to maintain smooth operations without their constant input. So what's really interesting here is, you look at the small business owner and you look at the beauty entrepreneur, and the small business owner is probably that person who got booked out. They were so busy. Then they added another team member. That team member got busy, and they just keep adding more employees in, but everyone has to work. There's no systems and processes. They're working crazy long hours, always feeling exhausted. Whereas when you actually look at the beauty entrepreneur and these massive salons that are having an insane amount of growth, it's because that beauty entrepreneur decided to make the decision to step off and away from the tools. And their primary focus was finding the right A players to support their business's growth and really focus on building the strategy and making sure that the right people surrounding them are also aligning to that vision, showing up, executing, and everyone is growing together. And so if you're feeling like you're stuck and your business isn't growing, you've hit, a glass ceiling, maybe it's because you're trying to do everything yourself and you've got the small business owner or employee mindset. Because a lot of people in beauty, they work for someone, they don't have a good experience, they go out, start their own business, and then they add some more people, but they don't actually think about, how do I get this business to run without me? And that's the difference. Small business owner versus entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is the type of person who can actually go on a holiday, who can step back from the business, who can work on other ventures because they've created the system, process, and structure for the business to run without them needing to be in it and running the daily operations. And I've learned a lot about this through remotely running a business. So as you know, I'm in Perth and my family are in Albany. And to be the entrepreneur, I have had to go, okay, what team are we hiring? Who's our manager? What kind of roles do we need in the business to be fulfilled? Who's going and doing the scheduling? Who's going and doing the marketing? How are we training people up, setting up these systems and processes? Because not being there for the daily operations, it's actually forced me to think about the bigger vision and how we create a well-oiled machine that can run efficiently and effectively without me having to be there every single day. And so maybe one of the exercises that's worth doing in your spare time is just questioning, like, how am I running my business right now? Am I the small business owner or am I the entrepreneur? And I want you to think about this. Let's say you lived somewhere else. Where's your dream place? Is it Bali? Is it Europe? Let's say you wanted to go on a holiday. That's the long-term vision. You don't want to work, 48, 52 weeks out of the year, 30, 40 hours a week. What would you need to do differently? If you were away on holiday, what systems and processes and team would you need set up for your business to thrive? Because I know for me, I need to have team I need to have operations handled. I need to be able to delegate those roles. I need to know that someone is the manager. I've got, team members. I've got RSA bar staff. I've got people who are managing the finances. I've got people who are doing customer service. Like, I've got to think about all the different operations and roles and responsibilities and jobs that need to be done in the business so that I can write out those job descriptions, so that I can start thinking, well, how do we actually automate this instead of paying someone and losing money because, I could have just set up an email sequence or some triggers and a workflow versus getting someone to manually respond every single time. Or, the first part is automated, and then once it gets to a certain stage, someone picks it up from there. So I want you to walk away from this episode thinking about, what do you want to achieve as a business owner in your lifetime? Do you see yourself in the beauty industry long term? Do you see yourself in another industry? And, whatever that long-term goal or vision is, are you currently creating the strategy, the systems, the structure, putting that in place so that that goal is achievable for you? Because it was really interesting. Recently, I gave away a free training maybe a month or two ago, and I got people to fill out a Google form. And a lot of them, they don't know how to get clients was the main problem, and I was solving that for them by teaching them some simple marketing strategies. And a lot of them wrote answers, like, oh, I've tried posting on Instagram, I've tried doing this, or not too much. And it was really interesting to see like what their strategy was. And then it was like, what kind of results are you getting? Oh, I'm not getting many clients. I'm really struggling at the moment. I feel like it's not working no matter what I do. And then it's like, well, what are you going to do about it? Because their goals, when I asked them about what they want to do, they're like, oh, I want a collaborative co-working space with, 5 to 10 other people. I want a team of 5 people. I want to make $1 million. And it's like, well, okay, if this is your problem, and you've tried these things and they still haven't worked, why are you staying stuck? Why are you not finding a solution for that? And I know that that might sound really blunt, but that's how I am. I'm straight to the point. If you're going to sit there and feel sorry for yourself and complain that I can't go on holidays, I'm not able to ever take time off the tools, like, what are you doing about it to learn? Are you going out and watching a YouTube video? Are you reaching out to someone that has already done it before you and can ask you how to do it? Where are you getting support and help in business? Because like I'm saying, the small business owner, which has been my family for a very long time, what will usually happen is you'll stay stuck, and it'll be 1 to maybe 3, 4 max people. And because you don't have the systems and processes in place, like, there's going to be a lot of variety and conflicting things going on in your business between employees, team members, results, customer experiences. And so with the long-term vision in mind, if you want to stay by yourself, go for it. That's exactly what you want, then there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to grow a big business, if you want to hit those, 7-figure goals, or to be out there, being able to run a salon and then go and offer training or have a product line, you've got to think about the bigger picture and what kind of things you need to put into place to be able to support you in that growth. And I talk about this because this was the exact problem I went through most recently. I was thinking, okay, how am I meant to try run the bowling alley, try run, what I want to do with my coaching business and transforming that into beauty industry leaders? And I felt really stuck. And I had a really great conversation with one of my friends, and she was like, Sammy, you just need a team. And so, yeah, I've got a VA, I've got a couple contractors, but actually looking at, what are those financial goals? What are the impact goals? Where do I see myself in the business? If I wanted to go travel, if I wanted to go, do speaking gigs or do a tour around Australia, what does that look like? What do I have to have set up so that the business doesn't fall apart? And I realized, as much as my ego is there and I'm like, people want me, it's no. It's like, find the right people that are trained up in your ways, that align with your values, that people will also love to work with as much as you, and have them on your team. And so what I've been able to develop, kind of in a slightly reactive state, but also a good push, is find incredible people that I've, networked with at least over the last 6 to 12 months and built relationships, and asked them to be a part of my journey. And so now we've been working on, just really scaling back, like getting rid of fully booked formula and having the school community. So we've got Beauty Industry Leaders School Community, which is like $97 a month. We do Q&A in there, looking to have some guest speakers in and just host like some business development events every now and again. And, do Q&A, like answer some questions, what you're struggling with, being able to also have some resources and materials in there to help people who need it. But then on top of that, what we also have is an agency. And so, the person that's stuck in the mindset of being that small business owner and they're going, oh my gosh, like I can't do this. I don't know who to hire. Don't know how, like, what do I do? We now have the Beauty Industry Leaders Agency, which can literally be the business operations or set you up to be the entrepreneur, which I think is the coolest thing because I don't know, throughout my time, I've found coaches to be really incredible and serve a certain purpose, but there's a certain stage in business that you get to where it's like although I need the coaching to help with the mindset and the blocks and being able to like set up strategies, sometimes you physically don't have enough hours in the day to be able to do all of it. So now having the agency here, we've got a finance manager, we've got a meta ads manager, we've got someone who has done e-commerce and product development, and we've also got myself, and being able to help you with your strategy, how to manage the operations, how to get everything up and running so that you have a system there and then you just understand how it works and to be able to take it over. That's what we're doing now with Beauty Industry Leaders. Instead of you being stuck as a small business owner, we are empowering you and supporting you on your journey to be the beauty entrepreneur. So if you're interested in having a conversation about what the agency can do for you or what it's all about, send me a DM on Instagram at Sammy Kennedy Coach or at Beauty Industry Leaders, and we can have a chat about it. We've only got 2 spots left for the rest of the year. It has been really cool to see a few of the beta testers get great results and really be able to streamline their businesses. So at this stage, that's all we're taking on for the rest of the year. But moving forwards into 2024, slowly as we grow our team, it will be cool to be able to support more beauty business owners into becoming the beauty entrepreneur that they are destined to be. Anyways, thought that this was a really different kind of episode, interesting to look at different perspectives and things, but I hope you're able to take away some value from this. And lastly, I want to leave you with a question for the rest of the week. Will you continue to be the beauty business owner, or will you evolve into becoming the beauty entrepreneur? Have a great week, and I will catch you next time. Bye.
Audience exclusive.